Hey there guys, what's going on? So, if you've known me for very long, whether it be the last couple of videos, the last 20 seconds, it hasn't even been 20 seconds probably, however long you've known me, whether it's back in the years, my old This Dog Ate My Vlogs channel, etc, etc, you know that since I really got going and really into this business, this YouTube thing, and really making videos and stuff, a lot of what I do has been musically related, musically charged, you know, talking about reviewing this new record or talking about this new artist, doing things like that. And that's my main passion and something that I really love to do. And that's why you're gonna, you know, you see that a good percentage of the time. But as I sort of was putting together the idea for heading off in the direction of this new channel, doing something that was really streamlined to, you know, sort of an idea, I began to think, well, in the art of reviewing, you don't just have to talk about music, and that can get a little stale or a little old if you're just doing the same thing every day, or if there's not a new record or something interesting out there that you really want to, you know, make a video about or talk about. So why not take something else that you really enjoy in your life? I have these conversations with myself, obviously, all the time. Why not take something else from your life that is a passion or that you really enjoy, or something that you've put down a bit that you'd like to come back to, and make a video about that, and maybe review something in a different genre. When I was younger and coming up through, it was basically what my diet consisted of, are books, novels, historical, you know, fantasy, fiction, worlds created from the events that happened or the events made up in the writer's head. Books have always been a great passion to me, and a great source of worlds and escape to just brilliantly created ideas and plot lines and structure, and so much of that I feel even now, even though I don't get to reading as much, really influenced me as a writer and really influenced the creative path that I found myself coming down since, you know, since I really you know, got into this whole thing and discovered that I really had a knack for words and really enjoyed making things that involved words and talking about things that I had read or done or seen, and you know, leading to things like YouTube and putting my face out there for, you know, for years and stuff. And you know, I thought, well, with that in mind, why not try to tackle a new segment? If anybody has any input on this, this would be pretty cool. I wanted to get a couple of books. I was actually at a Barnes and Noble yesterday, looking around and looking for some new stuff, and I found some pretty cool books in two different genres. One, of course, will be very fitting for this channel, and one will definitely not be quite as much. And I'm almost a little hesitant to go in this direction because this is not what my channel is about. I mean, I did leave it open to the idea of ideas, as you know, I said there just a moment ago, but I always tend to generally avoid this topic because it is a very controversial thing. You know, it's very difficult to have everyone keep a level head, and you know, it's a tough swamp to meander into, and namely that's things that are political. But I thought, with a couple of books that I found yesterday that I really liked, and an author that I not only really respect for the political aspects that he covers that really concerns just everybody, not a side, but a thing that concerns all of us, and you know, where things are headed in our livelihood, and you know, things in the United States especially, I thought it really would be something to add to this segment. So, but we'll get to that. For the first book here, we're doing a music book because, of course, what else would I do? One that is not actually from a musician I know deeply or well. I've only really heard a few of his recordings, and it didn't really stick with me that much. But I was very intrigued to hear that he had become a novelist, because I knew him by name. And sometimes, you know, musicians do that, tendencies with words and all that, and Josh Ritter did it several years ago as well, and among, you know, many others. And I liked the sound of the premise. It just sounded so off the wall, strange and funny and bizarrely hilarious that I thought, well, I'm bizarrely hilarious in most of my general weirdness, so why not go for this? So today we'll talk a little bit about I Never Met a Story I Didn't Like, Mostly True Tall Tales by Todd Snider. Acclaimed singer-songwriter Todd Snider's hilarious stories gathered in print for the first time. For years, Todd Snider has been one of the most beloved country folk singers in the United States, compared to Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, John Prine, and dozens of others. He's become not only a new century Dylan, but a modern-day Will Rogers, and every man whose intelligence, self-deprecation, experience, and sense of humor make him a uniquely American character. In live performances, Snider's monologues are cheered as much as his songs, but never before has he told the whole story. Running the gamut from personal memoir to shaggy dog comedy to rueful memories of his troubles and triumphs with drugs and alcohol to sharp-eyed observations from years on the road, I Never Met a Story I Didn't Like is for fans of Snider's music, or also for fans of America itself. And it goes on for a little bit more there, but you get an idea for this, and it's just an idea like this. You see something cool like this, and it's like, oh, okay, I like to hear somebody's humor brought together in novel form, or off the wall things, or maybe tales of drug-laced episodes or what have you, presented in novel form. And weirdly enough, I mean, like I said, I don't really listen to his music, but it wouldn't be the first time that possibly reading an artist as a novelist, as an author, actually would transition me more over to their work. Maybe hearing songs or like stories about songs or certain things, and like, oh, well, okay, now I want to hear what that is, so I know what this the story can match with the song. And the same thing actually happened when I read the Bob Mould biography that he wrote, called See a Little Light, and that actually got me into a lot of his work, and I've become a big fan of Bob's ever since. So maybe the same thing will happen here with Todd Snider. But now to the political one here, and like I said, one of my favorites, journalists in terms of journalists, just really one of the great financial guys, one of the guys who's really calling out people for their BS, especially when it comes to the financial district where there is so much BS, if you will. And that is none other than Matt Taibbi with his newest book called The Divide, American Injustice in the Age of the Wealth Gap. He's written several other books, Griftopia, Smells Like Dead Elephants, several other things. I actually have a couple of them up on the wall there. Always really, I've always really admired him for just being as straight of a shooter as he's been, as much of one who's just on the nose factually, and really opening up the stories that really concern everyone about the things that are happening in our world today. Not a left thing, not a right thing, not a this is a that is a liber whatever blender have you kind of a deal. Just things that concern us all, and the ways we're being screwed, more or less, So, I mean, like I said, I hesitate to deviate to politics, but I think this book is really worth it as a cool, idea for something to review. So, I want to put these together, blend them up into a big ball of something, and review them. Todd Snider and Matt Taibbi. Peanut butter and methadone together at last. No, a mix of two varying styles, but something I think that might work from some recent titles. So I don't know if anybody has any ideas on this. I mean, I'm going to start reading these very soon. Maybe kind of go every couple of chapters in both. Maybe kind of go over a little bit of what I've read or what I've heard or learned so far, and maybe kind of give my thoughts on what I think about it. Or would it be better to just do like a complete, like, read the whole thing, read both of them, and then come back with, well, this is what I think about this, like a complete retrospect? What would be the better approach if there's any input? And to give you just a little bit of a description, because I realized I didn't really give you a description like I did with this on the Taibbi book. A scathing portrait of an urgent new American crisis. Over the last 2 decades, America has been falling deeper and deeper into a statistical mystery. Poverty goes up, crime goes down, prison population doubles. Fraud by the rich wipes out 40% of the world's wealth. The rich get massively richer. No one goes to jail. In search of a solution, journalist Matt Taibbi discovered the divide. The theme in American life where our two most troubling trends, growing wealth inequality and mass incarceration, come together, driven by a dramatic shift in American citizenship. Our basic rights are now determined by our wealth or poverty. The divide is what allows massively destructive fraud by the hyper-wealthy to go unpunished, while turning poverty itself into a crime. but it's impossible to see until you look at these two alarming trends side by side. And the great thing also about Matt's work is that it's not written so rigidly dry and uninteresting that it puts you to sleep. Like you feel like you're reading history texts or something for school. It keeps it interesting, and he has a very sort of a wry, sardonic sense of humor that that definitely keeps the lens in focus, if you will. This is kind of a tentative, the book corner, kind of a let's talk about books and review books, and maybe we'll go somewhere with this bit, or maybe you'll never see it again, or these books bit. So let me know what you think of that. This is pretty much it for this little installment here, talking about something a little bit different from my my genre, and some new videos here on YouTube. So, give me your input, give me your comments, suggestions, anything of the above. Watch, belittle, subscribe, the whole gamut of things. But more or less, just, thank you for watching. Interaction, is always prized and highly enjoyed if you're, interested in either of these things that I talked about here. And, you never know, maybe we'll turn it into more of a, a regularly occurring, thing that you might see, because I definitely have a lot more ideas for books and stuff that I would like to put out on this channel. So, again, thank you guys for watching. Comment, subscribe, click on the little ads to make the wonderful pennies to put in my shoes, and thank you again for watching, taking the world by storm, and meet me back here very, very soon.